How has my sexuality changed as I've aged? Well, I will tell you that I was super relieved. I had uterine cancer 6 years ago now. And wait, 2015. Yeah, 6 years ago. And I was worried that after my hysterectomy, I might not be as like I was. But actually, I'm just as sexual as I ever was. I'm fortunate I didn't have like menopause symptoms or anything like that. I think the main thing that's changed in my sexuality has been I'm very much more accepting of myself, and I celebrate myself, and I have taken a break the last 2 years. The pandemic was an accident break. Like I had taken a break before the pandemic because the last lover I had was good technically, but I didn't feel a heart connection, and like I just wanted some space to get in center in myself and figure out what I wanted and needed in relationships. Like casual sex is not doing it for me. When I was younger, casual sex I thought was doing it for me, like in college. But the reality is that I was always looking for love. Like I was always disappointed if it just ended up being like a one night stand or something. I was like hoping I'd blow his mind and he'd, fall in love, and that would be, then we do it all the time. And yeah, so now I've had a lot of relationships and a lot of disappointments and a lot of one of my books that I wrote. So I wrote a workbook that goes with the original book that just has exercises to discover who you are. And the third book I wrote is it's called the Relationship Red Flag Assessment Journal. And it's like because of all the red flags that I totally ignored for so many years. And so but those were all lessons in how to value me and how to recognize when a relationship wasn't serving my highest good, or it wasn't good for my life, right? And so I would say the most thing that's changed for me sexually is that I'm not looking for love through sex anymore. I'm looking for sex and love together. And I've always known that they don't always travel together. You can separate them, right? So yeah, but it's still a journey. It's still, I'm learning all the time, and like my feelings still change all the time.
Yeah. This is amazing that like you're a proof of, for a lot of people who do self-inquiry, like the older we get, like the more connected we are. And as a result, the sex life is like better, like more orgasms, like feeling more connected. So I keep hearing that, like, oh my God, like after menopause, like I start squirting, or I felt this orgasm. So I'm hoping that, like, okay, it's pretty good now, but it will get better and better and better. So yeah.
Yeah, and that reminds me, I didn't orgasm with a man until like in my 30s,
Here
maybe
you
even almost
go.
40.
Here you
Because like I
go.
was afraid to let go. And I just had a conversation with somebody about how she can orgasm all day long when she's by herself, but when she was with her husband, she couldn't. And it's because there wasn't that level of trust. She didn't trust him to hold her sacred, essentially. And so yeah, but that's also made a big difference, is like I stopped caring what the guy thinks and just started like going for my pleasure. And he's either along for the ride or he's not. And whatever, right?
Yeah. So we have another question. You mentioned your sexuality shrinking in times when you felt afraid. How have you found the path back to your sexuality since then? That's a very good question. Like for people, like when it feels like everything is tense, like kind of depressed, like feeling not sexual, how to climb back?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm fortunate that I'm like a very sexual person generally anyway. It's not like I have to do a lot or generate a lot to turn me on. And not everybody is like that, and it's okay. Like we're all on our own path, and we all have like varying levels of sexual energy. The way I find my path back is really through self-love, like creating safe space. Like if I'm afraid and I've shrunk my sexuality, I have to find a way to make myself feel safe again. And I usually do that through writing. Like I coach myself in my journals a lot. Like, I understand you. Like, I will literally write love letters to myself and like encouragement letters. So I'll say something like, I understand that you're afraid or that you've been disappointed or hurt. I understand you're having trouble like trusting. So let's just enjoy your sexuality with yourself right now. And then when you're ready, we'll look outside of yourself again for connection, right? But let's just heal this. And then I'd like lose myself in some great books that make me feel juicy and happy. And like really when I read those, they expand how I feel. They expand my space. So it's always about creating more space for my self-expression and for my self-acceptance. And like the more I can connect either through reading or conversations with other people who own their sexuality, who like stand in their sexual power and like don't let this world tell them who to be or how they can be. Even, and it doesn't even have to be sexual. It's like when I see women doing ceremony, like spiritual ceremony, like around a fire or even just lighting candles and like chanting or whatever, you know, there's so many paths to connection with spirit and with life force, like all of those things create the safe container where I can love myself and where I can make my sexuality feel safe. And it's not, you know, it's like, it's interesting because I find myself right now in a space where I don't have security. Like I don't have very much money. I'm hoping I don't lose my car. I've been unemployed for over a year because of the pandemic. And before that, a invention I had tried and thought was going to make me a millionaire, that used up all my money. So like, yeah, I've struggled. And yet I find myself still, even though I'm afraid in that way, still feeling vibrantly alive and sexual. And so that's a shift for me because like, but I will tell you this too, like yesterday or the day before, I felt threatened and I felt everything shrink and I felt my self-love shrink. And I was like, am I going to be okay? Can I even keep going? Like, how am I going to survive? Like, you know, and I felt that shrink and then just breathe through it and talk to it, you know, I love you and it's going to be okay, you know? So it's just always, and then like, for example, I make things like this all the time.
Oh,
Let this be play. Let this be fun. Let this be joy. Let this feel safe. You know, let this feel safe. Let this feel sacred. Like
yeah.
I write love letters to myself like that. Like I love you. And when I see stuff like that, that's colorful and bright, it makes me feel better.
Yeah. Oh my God, Kat, thank you for sharing so vulnerably. You know, like you're talking about some, you know, some very like very personal scenes so openly. I so much appreciate it. It's just so beautiful. And love letters, like I never done it. Like I never ever wrote a love letter to myself. I'm going to do it. Like I'm inspired by you.
I'm I'm looking up my Instagram. I have an Instagram called Fierce Self Love. And here is my love letter recommendation. Hang on a second.
Okay, so we will share your Instagram account that people can look it up.
Okay.
Okay, okay. And Kat, if we want more of you, what are you offering? What are what are the scenes that are available? What are you doing these days?
Okay, so I'm doing a special right now. If anybody buys any one of the three of my books, you get a free half-hour session with me. And
Ooh.
over on my website, which you're going to put in the
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. We have it here. You already posted it here, and I will put it on Facebook and on YouTube.
Okay. So on my website, it lists all of the different things I do. Like I do self-love coaching, body image coaching, sacred sexuality coaching. I do energy healing and Reiki, and I can do all of that, on Zoom. Um, and what was I going to say? Oh, and then there's links to my books on my website. There's links to my books. There's all the information you could probably want and better explanations of everything.
Yay, yay. Thank you so much, Kat. It like the time flew by, so we already it's already 1 hour. It was so amazing to have you. Thank you for sharing, for opening your heart and just sharing so openly with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was really fun to spend this time with you.